Bold and the Beautiful, Dylan the New Luna? Twisted secrets and jaw-dropping revelations unfold. Is Luna Nozawa influencing her from beyond the grave? Or did this influence start before she died? We're going to talk about how Dylan may be hiding some dark secrets and a connection to Luna Nozawa that could come out in a big way and spell trouble on B&B. And now we're going to talk about whether Dylan could be picking up where Luna left off. This is not an official spoiler. This is a discussion about what could be coming. Just to make that clear, Dylan's move into Spencer's life, a calculated scheme on Bold and the Beautiful? So, right now we have Dylan getting so close to Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace, and Will Spencer, Crew Morrow. She's crashing at Will's place. And now it looks like Dylan may be working at Forrester Creations if Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes, hires her, which seems likely. And the way Dylan is just incorporating herself into Will's and Electra's lives got me thinking. Right now, Dylan seems so sweet and so helpless. She's drawing Electra and Will in, and I feel like this could all be a big act. It absolutely reminds me of when Brad Bell first introduced Luna to us. She was so sweet and so innocent, the victim of a bad mom who's a druggie and was always bringing these random men around. Poor Luna, but it was all for show. Brad Bell and the art of the repeated plot line on B&B. And we also know how much Brad Bell loves to repeat plots. He gets an idea and then he's like, I'm going to just beat this like a dead horse and bring it back again and again and again. If you're not sure, think about all the times we've had Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, Ridge Forrester, Torsten Kay, and Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig. All the deaths, he said, were real that weren't. Think about how many times Lee Finnegan, Naomi Matsuda, has brought somebody back from the brink of death. I mean, he is a repeater like a Xerox copy machine. Flashbacks and the dark history between Dylan and Luna on Bold and the Beautiful. So, that got me thinking about Dylan's interactions with Luna. I'm wondering if there's something we don't know about these two, something we haven't seen. Maybe we get a glimpse of it in flashbacks later, and there could be a twist coming that relates to Dylan and Luna. I would be totally there for it, though. If you remember, Dylan met Luna and she liked her. She invited her to teach origami to Little Hayes Forrester Finnegan's, Brian Garlick, art class without knowing her actual name or running a background check. She just let her in with the kids. For a while there, Dylan seemed to legitimately hit it off with Luna, aka Miss Sunshine, right? And then next we saw Luna had Dylan tied up, held her hostage at the beach house while she was targeting Steffi. And then, of course, we saw Luna arrested. Was Dylan gaslit by Luna from behind bars on B&B? Given how Luna was trying anything and everything to gain her freedom, I wouldn't put it past her to reach out to Dylan from jail. And maybe Dylan felt sorry for her, so she went to visit Luna in jail, and then Dylan wound up feeling really bad for her. Luna is such a gaslighter. She might have sold Dylan this whole sad tale about how all Luna wanted was to get to know her father, John Finnegan, Tanner Novlin, and everybody else was evil. They kept them all apart, including Steffi, who ordered that she could never see her dad. You never know, Dylan may have daddy issues of her own, and then Luna twisted her around so she would see her as the victim and the Forresters as the bad guys of this story. The miscarriage, sob story, and the drive to Malibu on Bold and the Beautiful. Luna might have convinced Dylan that she and Will were in a relationship and that family tore them apart. She could have claimed his family ripped them away and it's this whole Romeo and Juliet thing, and then Electra interfered. She could have told Dylan all kinds of stuff, that she loved Will or that she was pregnant with their love child. Luna could have given this whole sob story to Dylan about how she suffered this tragic miscarriage and how awful Electra is. Luna could have spun this whole terrible, woe is me story to make Dylan feel bad for her. And Luna might have actually gotten Dylan on her side. Bold and the Beautiful. Was Luna's death really an accident for art teacher Dylan? For one thing, I thought it was really strange that Dylan happened to be way over in Malibu when she ran over Luna. I do think Dylan running Luna down was accidental, but it could be maybe she called Dylan and asked her for a ride. She was going over there to pick up Luna, but then she ran out onto the road and Dylan hit her and killed her. So, If Luna had somehow gotten Dylan on her side before she died, I could see Luna's death sending her off the rails. Imagine if you ran over and killed your best friend. Dylan would be distraught if Luna were her friend, especially if she was her only friend. And Dylan might have blamed everybody who was chasing Luna and blamed them for her running into traffic. Calculated revenge. Is Dylan's homelessness a fake on B&B? So Dylan might have gone nuts and cooked up this whole plot to get revenge and get justice for Luna. I'm just wondering also if maybe Dylan's not even really homeless. She might have been crashing at Luna's place. This might all be contrived where she set it up and parked down the road intentionally. And then she called the HOA pretending to be a neighbor and complaining about having a guest park without a permit in front of their house. She could have piled her stuff into the car counting on Will, or Electra seeing it and starting this whole scheme to get closer to them. And yes, I know that's very contrived, but yes, this is the kind of plot that Brad Bell writes. Driving a wedge between Will Spencer and Electra Forrester on B&B. So if that was Dylan, then Will and Electra fell for it hook, line, and sinker. And if Dylan really is up to no good, she's in the perfect position to hurt a lot of people that Luna hated, including Electra and Steffi in particular. As we all know, Brad Bell is a plot repeater. And so again, I say Dylan seems as sweet as Luna did when she first came on Bold and the Beautiful. We already know recast R.J. Forrester, Brian Nicoletti, gets close to Electra. When they auditioned R.J. Forrester, they had him do a chemistry read with Linnea Grace, who plays Electra Forrester. That is an indicator of where things are headed. So if R.J. and Electra get closer, that's a situation Dylan might use to get closer to Will and drive a wedge between Electra and Will. I mean, it already seems like Dylan has her eye on Will. And that might be because if Luna was her friend, Dylan would have known about Luna's obsession for Will and maybe she ran with it. Luna Nozawa 2.0. Is Dylan a good girl gone bad? Dylan might be trying to get Will away from Electra because that's what Luna would have wanted. Dylan may think that since Luna can't have Will cause she's dead, Dylan may figure she's a better choice than Electra. She may rationalize it, saying this is what Luna would want. Plus, Dylan may want Electra to suffer because of what Luna told her, which would have been a lot of lies. Bottom line is we may be getting a whole new version of a past plot. We could be getting a Luna 2.0 thing with Dylan as a good girl gone bad. Steffi is about to give her a job. Dylan is living at Will's place, and she's drooling over him. Spying on him in his swim Bold trunks and the Beautiful are bracing themselves for an emotional gut punch today, as a dark new chapter begins to unfold. One that feels heartbreakingly familiar, yet more disturbing than ever. Whispers are growing louder across Los Angeles, and one chilling question is echoing through every storyline. Is Dylan becoming the new Luna? What started as subtle unease has now exploded into a web of twisted secrets, manipulation, and devastating realizations. And if the clues are pointing where they seem to be, the fallout could shatter lives, families, and futures in ways no one saw coming. A familiar darkness returns. Longtime viewers know the name Luna still carries a heavy emotional weight. Her descent from vulnerability to deception, from victim to quiet architect of chaos, left scars that never fully healed. Trust was broken, innocence was lost, and by the time the truth surfaced, it was already too late to undo the damage. Now, heartbreakingly, the same ominous signs are beginning to surround Dylan. At first, Dylan appeared misunderstood, a troubled soul. Yes, but also someone audiences wanted to root for. Someone who seemed bruised by life rather than driven to harm others. Yet recently, something has shifted. The pauses in his voice linger too long. His explanations feel rehearsed. His apologies don't quite reach his eyes. And worst of all, people close to him are starting to feel it, that deep, instinctive chill that says something isn't right. The cracks beneath Dylan's smile. Dylan's transformation hasn't been loud or explosive. That's what makes it so terrifying. Instead, it's unfolded slowly, methodically, almost invisibly, just like Luna's did. He's everywhere he shouldn't be. Conversations stop when he enters the room. Secrets seem to unravel shortly after he offers help. And time and again, Dylan positions himself as the only one who truly understands, the only one who can be trusted. Sound familiar? Those closest to Dylan are beginning to notice unsettling inconsistencies. Stories change. Timelines don't add up. And when confronted, Dylan doesn't lash out. He deflects, subtly turning suspicion back onto others. It's emotional chess, and he's always 3 moves ahead. This isn't just concerning. It's devastating. Electra's growing terror. Perhaps no one is more affected by Dylan's shift than Electra. Once confident and composed, she now finds herself trapped in a storm of doubt and fear. She senses she's being watched, studied, maneuvered. Every step she takes feels anticipated. Electra's instincts are screaming at her, but instincts alone don't count as proof. And Dylan knows it. He comforts her just enough to keep her close. He undermines her doubts just enough to make her question her own sanity. It's a cruel, calculated dance that leaves Electra emotionally exhausted and dangerously isolated. The tragedy? By the time she fully understands what Dylan may be capable of, escape might no longer be an option. Is history repeating itself? The parallels to Luna are impossible to ignore. Luna didn't need violence to destroy lives. She used information. She listened. She learned. And when the moment was right, she struck with devastating precision. Families turned on each other. Relationships imploded. And the truth emerged only after irreversible damage had been done. Dylan seems to be walking the same path. Private conversations are resurfacing in public conflicts. Carefully hidden secrets are suddenly exposed. And somehow, Dylan always manages to be standing nearby, offering sympathy, playing mediator, quietly benefiting from the chaos he didn't technically create. It's manipulation at its most insidious, and it's breaking hearts across the canvas. The shocking revelation no one is ready for. Sources close to the storyline hint that the worst may still be ahead. A jaw-dropping revelation is rumored to surface soon. One that could confirm Dylan's role not as a bystander, but as the silent mastermind behind several recent disasters. If true, this reveal would change everything. Alliances would collapse. Trust would be obliterated. And Dylan's carefully constructed image could finally crack. But even then, the damage will already be done. What makes this revelation so painful isn't just the betrayal. It's the realization that the warning signs were always there. That people wanted to believe in Dylan. That they ignored their doubts because hope felt easier than suspicion. And that perhaps is the saddest part of all. Families on the brink of collapse. The ripple effects of Dylan's secrets are spreading fast. Families who are already fragile are now teetering on the edge of collapse. Old wounds are reopening. Long-buried resentments are rising to the surface. Parents are questioning their children. Lovers are second-guessing every whispered promise. Even friendships that once felt unbreakable are starting to crack under the weight of mistrust. And through it all, Dylan remains calm, almost eerily so. It's the same calm Luna once had. The calm of someone who believes they're untouchable. Can Dylan be stopped before it's too late? That's the question haunting Bold and the beautiful fans today. Is Dylan fully aware of the damage he's causing? Or has he convinced himself that his actions are justified? Is there still a part of him that can be reached? Or has the line already been crossed, sealing his fate as the show's next great tragic villain? Some characters are getting closer to the truth. A stray comment here, a misplaced document there. The puzzle pieces are slowly coming together. But in this world, being close to the truth is often the most dangerous place to be. If Dylan senses exposure, there's no telling how far he'll go to protect himself. A tragedy built on silence. What makes this storyline so deeply sad isn't just the betrayal, it's the silence that allowed it to grow. People sensed something was wrong, yet hesitated to speak. They feared being wrong more than they feared being hurt. And now, the cost of that silence is becoming painfully clear. Elektra's fear, broken families, emotional wreckage scattered across every corner of the Forrester world. All of it traces back to one haunting truth. Evil doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it smiles, listens, and waits. What comes next will change everything. As the bold and the beautiful moves forward, one thing is certain: nothing will be the same again. If Dylan truly is the new Luna, the fallout will be massive. Redemption may no longer be possible, and the people who trusted him most will be left to pick up the pieces of their shattered lives. Today's very sad news isn't just about betrayal or secrets. It's about the heartbreak of realizing that the past we feared has returned, wearing a new face. If Dylan senses exposure, there's no telling how far he'll go to protect himself. A tragedy built on silence. What makes this storyline so deeply sad isn't just the betrayal. It's the silence that allowed it to grow. People sensed something was wrong, yet hesitated to speak. They feared being wrong more than they feared being hurt. And now, the cost of that silence is becoming painfully clear. Elektra's fear, broken families, emotional wreckage scattered across every corner of the Forrester world. All of it traces back to one haunting truth. Evil doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it smiles, listens, and waits. What comes next will change everything. As the bold and the beautiful moves forward, one thing is certain: nothing will be the same again. If Dylan truly is the new Luna, the fallout will be massive. Redemption may no longer be possible. But often treacherous world of Los Angeles fashion, the line between a fresh start and a fateful mistake is razor thin. Today, the bold and the beautiful B&B fans are waking up to a storm of emotions as the soap delivers a mix of tragic nostalgia and bone-chilling new threats. Between the definitive sad news regarding a fallen fan favorite and the emergence of a mysterious newcomer who feels hauntingly familiar, the canvas is being repainted in shades of dark obsession. If you thought the drama ended with Luna Nozawa's dramatic exit, think again. The shadows have only grown longer, and a new player named Dylan is stepping directly into the light, bringing with her a trail of secrets that could dismantle the Spencer and Forrester dynasties. The end of an era, finality for Luna Nozawa. The very sad news echoing through the B&B community today centers on the official confirmation regarding Luna Nozawa, played by the Emmy-winning Lisa Yamada. For months, viewers held on to the hope that the lunatic had pulled off one final magic trick. After all, in the world of soaps, no body usually means no death. However, executive producer and head writer Bradley Bell has finally broken his silence, confirming that Luna's journey has officially reached its tragic end. This news has left the Lunatics fandom in mourning. Lisa Yamada, who recently made history as the first Asian American to win a Daytime Emmy for her work on the show, has transitioned to new projects, including the high-profile Legally Blonde prequel. While the character's crimes, ranging from kidnapping Steffi to the manipulation of Will Spencer, were unforgivable, Yamada's electric performance made her a villain fans love to hate. Seeing that chapter officially closed is a bitter pill for many to swallow, especially as the show prepares to fill the void she left behind. Enter Dylan, a good girl or a ghost from the past. With Luna gone, the spotlight has shifted to Dylan, portrayed by Sydney Bullock. Initially introduced as a sweet, unassuming art teacher for young Hayes, Dylan's trajectory has taken a sharp, unsettling turn. The homelessness twist. In a heart-wrenching revelation that tugged at the strings of the Forrester and Spencer families, Dylan was recently found living out of her car. This sad news of her plight prompted Will Spencer, Crew Morrow, and Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace, to open their home and their hearts to her. But as Dylan moves into the beach house, the atmosphere has shifted from gratitude to something much more sinister. Fans are asking, is Dylan the new Luna? The jaw-dropping revelation, the killer among us. The most shocking secret of all was Dylan's tearful confession. She was the driver of the car that hit and killed Luna. While the characters on screen have offered her forgiveness, viewing it as a tragic accident born of Luna's own recklessness, The audience isn't so sure. The way Dylan lingers in the background, her laser-focused interest in Will Spencer, and her subtle smiles when Electra isn't looking suggests that hitting Luna might not have been an accident at all. Was it a calculated move to eliminate the competition? Or is Dylan carrying out a legacy of revenge that we haven't even begun to uncover? Twisted Secrets, the legacy theory. The internet is currently ablaze with theories about Dylan's true identity. The most jaw-dropping speculation suggests that Dylan is not just a random teacher, but a legacy character in disguise. The Sheila Carter connection. Fans have noted a chilling resemblance between Dylan's burgeoning obsession and the early days of Sheila Carter. Could she be the long-lost daughter of Sheila and Massimo Marone? If Dylan is indeed Diana Carter, her infiltration of the Forrester and Spencer inner circles is a masterclass in slow-burn revenge. The Allie Forrester echo. Others point to Dylan's resemblance to the late Allie Forrester. Could she be a relative, or a literal reincarnation of the dark side that once plagued the Forrester family? A fashion war ignites, the Logan versus Forrester feud. While Dylan weaves her web at the beach house, a professional storm is brewing at Forrester Creations. Katie Logan has officially launched her own brand, simply titled Logan, and she's not playing nice. The betrayal of Eric Forrester. In a move that has left Ridge Forrester reeling, the patriarch himself, Eric Forrester, has agreed to be the lead designer for Katie's new house. This isn't just business, it's a family feud. Eric, feeling pushed out of his own company by his son, is using Logan to prove he's still the king of couture. The job competition. In a move that many call unfair, Steffi Forrester is considering hiring Dylan at Forrester Creations, despite recently firing Deke Sharp. This decision puts Dylan in constant proximity to Electra and Will, creating a pressure cooker of professional and romantic jealousy. What's next? The Friday cliffhanger. As we head into the weekend, the stakes have never been higher. Spoilers for today's episode suggest Katie's big announcement. Katie is set to make a revelation to Bill Spencer that will change the landscape of the fashion industry forever. Is she planning a hostile takeover? Or is there a personal bombshell hidden in her business plans? RJ's return. The new RJ Forrester, now played by Brian Nicoletti, has arrived in LA, and he's already finding himself caught in the middle of the Dylan-Will Electra triangle. Will he be the one to see through Dylan's sweet teacher act? Dylan's dark side. Watch for a chilling moment where Dylan's mask slips. Whether it's an obsession with Will's belongings or a secret phone call to a mysterious contact, the new Luna is about to show her true colors. Why this matters to fans. The Bold and the Beautiful is leaning into a new generation of drama, and while it's sad to say goodbye to the era of Luna Nozawa, the introduction of Dylan offers a fresh, psychological brand of horror. We are watching a master manipulator at work, someone who uses her vulnerability as a weapon. The sad news of today is just the prelude to a much larger symphony of betrayal. As Dylan moves from the car to the beach house, and from the beach house to the halls of Forrester Creations, today's news from the Bold and the Beautiful hits hard, and it cuts deeper than anyone expected. What initially looked like a quiet, compassionate connection is now spiraling into something far darker. Dylan's gradual move into Will Spencer's life is no longer being viewed as coincidence or kindness. Instead, it's raising chilling questions about motive, manipulation, and a carefully calculated scheme that could leave Will emotionally shattered and the Spencer family reeling. Fans who've been watching closely sense the storm brewing. Now the clouds have burst, and the fallout promises to be devastating. A vulnerable target, Will Spencer at a crossroads. Will Spencer has always lived in the shadow of giants. As Bill Spencer's son, expectations follow him everywhere, yet lately Will has felt more lost than ever. Torn between loyalty to family, confusion about his own identity, and the constant pressure to live up to the Spencer name, Will is emotionally exposed in a way he's never been before. That vulnerability is precisely what makes today's news so heartbreaking. When Dylan entered Will's orbit, it seemed almost serendipitous. Dylan appeared empathetic, attentive, and deeply understanding, someone who listened when Will felt unheard. In moments of quiet doubt, Dylan offered reassurance. In moments of isolation, Dylan offered companionship. But now, viewers are being forced to confront a disturbing possibility. Was Dylan ever there for Will, or was Will chosen? Dylan's slow, strategic infiltration. What makes this situation so unsettling is how subtle Dylan's approach has been. There was no dramatic entrance, no obvious manipulation. Instead, Dylan embedded himself into Will's daily life piece by piece. Shared conversations, late-night talks, personal confessions. This wasn't a rush. It was a slow burn. Today's sad revelation is that Dylan's behavior follows a troubling pattern. Every step forward was taken only after Will revealed another insecurity, another fear, another emotional wound. Dylan didn't just comfort Will, they studied him. And that's where alarm bells are ringing. Was Dylan learning Will's emotional weak points? Mapping out his fears? Gaining trust not for love or friendship, but for control? The shadow of the Spencer legacy. Any move involving a Spencer is never simple. Bill Spencer's empire, power, and long list of enemies mean that no one enters his family's inner circle without scrutiny. Yet Dylan managed to bypass that radar entirely. That alone is tragic. By aligning closely with Will, who is often overlooked and underestimated, Dylan found a back door into the Spencer world. It's the kind of move Bill himself might make in business, which makes it all the more painful if Will is now on the receiving end of that same ruthless strategy. Today's very sad news isn't just about Will's heartbreak, it's about the loss of innocence. If Dylan's intentions are indeed calculated, then Will wasn't just befriended. He was used. Red flags no one wanted to see. Looking back, the signs were always there, quiet, easy to dismiss, but unmistakable in hindsight. Dylan often discouraged Will from confiding in his family, subtly reinforcing the idea that they wouldn't understand. Dylan positioned himself as the only safe place Will could land. That emotional isolation is now being seen as deeply troubling. Even more concerning, Dylan always seemed to know exactly what Will needed to hear. Not what was true, but what would keep Will close. Today's revelation reframes every tender moment into something painful and suspect. What once felt like emotional intimacy now feels like emotional engineering. The cost of trust, Will's heart on the line. Will Spencer trusted Dylan in a way he rarely trusts anyone. That trust was raw, fragile, and deeply personal. He opened up about feeling invisible within his own family, about fearing he'd never measure up, about wanting to matter to someone, anyone. If Dylan's move into Will's life was indeed a scheme, then this isn't just manipulation. It's emotional devastation. The sadness of today's news lies in the inevitability of what comes next. When the truth surfaces, as it always does on the bold and the beautiful, Will won't just lose Dylan. He'll lose his sense of judgment, his faith in connection, and perhaps his belief that people can care without an agenda. That kind of damage doesn't fade quickly. Bill Spencer's wrath looms large. If Bill Spencer gets wind of this, and the consequences will be explosive. Bill is many things, but forgiving someone who deliberately harms his son is not one of them. The tragedy? Bill may blame himself. He spent years fighting enemies in boardrooms and bedrooms alike, but the threat that slipped through was the one he never saw coming. Dylan didn't come after Bill directly. They went for the one person least protected, Will. And when Bill realizes that Will's pain was preventable, his rage may be unstoppable. Is Dylan acting alone or following a bigger plan? Perhaps the most haunting question emerging today is this. Who benefits from Dylan's closeness to Will? Is Dylan acting out of personal ambition, resentment, or desperation? Or are they a pawn in a larger game involving Spencer power, money, or revenge? The fact that Dylan's move was so measured suggests planning. And in the world of the bold and the beautiful, plans are rarely small or harmless. This uncertainty adds another layer of sadness. If Dylan isn't even acting alone, then Will's suffering may be collateral damage in a war he never agreed to fight. A fractured future for Will. Today's sad news signals a turning point for Will Spencer. No matter how the storyline unfolds, Will not emerge unchanged. If Dylan is exposed, Will have to rebuild his sense of trust from the ground up. If Dylan doubles down, the emotional manipulation could intensify before it collapses. Either way, the days of innocence are over. Will's journey forward may involve anger, withdrawal, or even rebellion against his family, especially if he feels they failed to protect him. And that's the cruelest twist of all. The people who love Will most may end up paying the price for Dylan's deception. Fans react. Shock, anger, and heartbreak. Viewers are already responding with heartbreak and fury. Many feel deeply protective of Will, seeing him as one of the show's most emotionally honest characters. Watching him become a potential victim of manipulation has struck a nerve. Others are fascinated, but disturbed by Dylan's complexity. If Dylan truly is orchestrating a scheme, it's one of the most quietly sinister moves the show has delivered in recent memory. There are no villains twirling mustaches here, just whispered words, gentle smiles, and devastating consequences. What happens next? As the bold and the beautiful moves forward, today's very sad news sets the stage for a reckoning. Secrets will unravel, loyalties will be tested, and someone, possibly everyone, will get hurt. The biggest question remains unanswered. Will Dylan feel remorse when the truth comes out, or will they justify every calculated step as necessary? And perhaps the most painful question of all, when Will learns the truth, will he ever be able to trust his heart again? Final thoughts, a tragedy in slow motion. Dylan's move into Will Spencer's life may go down as one of the most heartbreaking storylines the show has told in years. Not because of explosive drama, but because of its realism. This is a tragedy built on trust, vulnerability, and manipulation that unfolded quietly right before our eyes.